I am so close to calling Reincarnated as an Aristocrat an Isekai masterpiece. It definitely has had episodes of that quality, especially with the father's death. But the more I see of how they're structuring Ars's journey and how off the beaten path that you're used to following with like overpowered Isekai MCs, as I've constantly been pointing out, it's a team effort. He's a really good leader to have and he can scout people better than anyone else. But it's a team effort, and it's not one person makes for everything to happen in a convenient way. But between the first half of this episode and Lord Curran, who is arguably the most powerful person that we currently and may ever have a connection with, is fighting to have the power that he's rightfully deserving of, but the younger brother, who is definitely generic evil, is trying to take that from him. It's pretty clear why they actually killed Raven, aka Ars's dad, because if we would have had two big dick energies like them on screen together, it just would have been too unbalanced, so they had to take Lord Raven out as they introduced this man, because I honestly mean it, he gives me Raven vibes. Like, he just has that vibe of like, I want to respect and follow that guy, and the fact that he just shut down the whole like age doesn't mean anything, it's all about actions, and this kid's done more than pretty much every one of you in this room. Everything about that was awesome. And then you add in the second half with us using fam and basically scouting out new talent and getting this drunken beauty who is a complete monster. And honestly, I feel like similar to Aqua from Konosuba, if you ever put the bubbly down, would be the most effective isekai character you could probably ever ask for. But I think before this season wraps up, or as this season wraps up, I'm gonna put this as a masterpiece level. People can feel free to disagree, say, oh, I like it, it's not that good. Feel free to feel that way, but this show's doing it all different, but also right. Now, of course, I have full live reactions to all these episodes of Aristocrat over on Patreon if you want to see my full length of thought to this latest episode, or any of these episodes going to be over there exclusively. So, I really liked the Lord Corrin stuff. That was incredible. I was a little worried initially when we were waiting. I was like, man, this could be like that generic douchebag energy. He's going to come down. It's just going to be bad. But instead, no, I understood why people would want to follow him almost right away. He had a character design that just felt like it was intimidating without being like rule with an iron fist. The speech he gave and like his plans, like you can't give that without having maxed out leadership stats, 100%, because most people would have doubts, but there's a reason everyone collectively cheered. And what I really appreciate is what they're doing about Ars as a character, because at the end of the day, Ars is very young. Most nobles or people in position of power, when they see a kid in a similar situation as them, they're going to be like, whose freaking kid is this? And why should we take a kid seriously? I'm older, I'm wiser, like, what the hell? But at the end of the day, when you have your leader pretty much saying, without him, we would have lost a lot of shit here, and this is the reason we have a massive W. There's a reason he's getting such a big reward, because that is a talent that you can notice. Now, are you going to trust a kid with the complete future of your domain? No. No idiot would do that. Well, an idiot might do that, but clearly he's not one. But the idea of like asking questions like, what do you think of the people that, you know, follow me? And Ars being legitimately honest, they're nothing special. You know what? You're right. They're not. They're loyal, they're hardworking, but yeah, they ain't on my level. They ain't on our level. And what about your people? Are they better than mine? They are. Like, if this was a douchebag of a character or someone with a stick up his own ass, he probably would have took that very personally. But this is a guy with grand ambitions who can also, because he has that leadership, he's not to the same degree as Ars because he can't see all these stats, but there is an intuition about people, and I think he very much saw something in Ars, and it's going to be very fun to see how Ars, over the course of a story like this, should the anime get multiple seasons, how he would build those relationships and trust, because this is the type of connection that is very, very beneficial going forward. And all that stuff just makes this for an interesting take on a isekai fantasy story, because usually it is OP hero is stronger than everyone, or OP hero just does something so extraordinary everything falls in his lap. And while he got a reward, it was a justified reward at the end of the day, but it's not like everything's in his hands. As I said last week, it wasn't simply the Ars show that caused for that whole exchange to happen. Ars had good starting points, but it was because of the team effort of everyone and listening to those connections that we were able to properly expose everything. And that's what's great about this. That alone makes this show so extraordinary. But then you add in legitimately interesting and fun dynamics. I'm not gonna say what I've seen so far with Mariel is like the greatest character I've seen. Yeah, she's attractive looking, and yeah, she has a very intense personality that's just fun, but she definitely isn't surface level. The simple drunken conversation about where she came from and how the bartender kind of storms off saying like, yeah, you're dropping these powerful names, yeah, I'm the great lie. That actually gave her a lot of depth as a character, and even though she kind of has no filter, she doesn't come across as rude. She just kind of has like there's no real political manners in her vocabulary, but she's also not a bitch. And I am so excited to see what they do because she does have insane stats. And the relationship that we've now made with Fam is that bring me people you think are extraordinary. There's no penalty if I say they're not, and we'll give you 20 gold if they are. It's a pretty good deal for both of them. They both benefit, and I think it's an interesting way to keep a character like that around because we're not always going to have to like go sneaky sabotage routes. Using him as like an informant to find special people, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know, like this was honestly one of my favorite episodes. Like the best episode of the season still is the father's death and everything they did with that build up. I think that is the peak of the show, but I think this was a very close second. Like this was easily my second favorite episode out of the 10 by far. It was that good. And there's nothing wrong with people not liking the show as much as me, but like I am very, very close to calling this an isekai masterpiece. The only way I feel myself pulling back on that is if they really blue balls us with a cliffhanger and never continue the show in anime form. But, you know, if that happened, it might definitely be one of the rare cases where I'm like, you know what? You gotta jump to that source material, because this show is just, it actually is unlike any of the isekai I've seen in recent memory. It's just, I love it. I love Ars's ridiculousness, his faces, the cast, every one of them. Raven was still like my favorite character and probably always will be, but like what they're doing now with Lord Curran is like there was a hole left by his death, and I think only this man can fill it. But the brother definitely gives me bad vibes of what he might attempt to do, and I'm ready to have my heart broken if they decide to do it for a second time, aka kill my new favorite best boy. But I like that all the characters have their roles, and it's not just the isekai overpowered MC's role, it's actually a group effort, which in a political situation, as good of a leader as you may be, a good leader can't win alone. It is a team effort, and that's what's important. Let me know what you thought down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Tommy Jameson, Davin, Kyle Call, Ten Crazy, Gowon Hee, Austin Fournette, and Rookie. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you all have a good one.